I'm Trevor Jackson, founder of Jackson Distillers, and I'm here with my colleague Nick Laird. We are here to present on our distillery project. The whisky industry is one of the jewels, not just in the Scottish Crown, but actually in UK PLC Crown. It's worth about over £5 billion annually to the economy, and the current grain market is controlled basically by two main players, but we have 7 distilleries in Scotland as opposed to around 134 malt distilleries. So we see the market where the production capacity is around 400 million litres. We are now seeing that demand coming up to meet that supply potential, and we see both an opportunity but also a challenge to decarbonise that supply, and we want to bring forward an industry-leading distillery to both decarbonise but also to make a niche, an opportunity for blenders and distillers to premiumise their output as well. So our vision is to deliver the cleanest, greenest modern distillery using up-to-date technology and incorporating at the design level carbon capture technology, renewable energy, and water recycling to make it as resource efficient as possible. So as to the how we do that, I'm now going to hand on to Nick.
What we are doing is trying to create the most resource efficient distillery. It just happens at the moment that resources and costs come together quite nicely. We reduce energy intake by 20%, we reduce water intake by about 65% to create 1 litre of alcohol. There's one thing, I'm not a specialist in whisky. We have a couple of guys on the team who are multi-year veterans, but one of the things I really quite liked about it was that the output of the distillery obviously is alcohol, but one of the co-products are things called draff and syrup. They go into a biogas plant, and we are sited right next door to a biogas plant that Trevor built about 10 years ago. The inputs of the biogas plant create biogas, and the outputs of the biogas plant are stuff that can go back as a fertiliser onto a farmer's field to produce cereals, which, as you've guessed it, then go into a distillery. So it's a lovely, properly circular economy there. And as Trevor said, we're by the time we're up and running, we will be a net absorber of carbon by 3,000 tonnes a year, which we like. What does it take to get this business to be successful? Well, the market conditions generally in grain whisky are quite benign. So buyers, who are the people on the right-hand side of that slide, we're already talking to about supply for when we are up and running in 2 years' time. They like long-term contracts, and they accept that both a grain distiller and a blender needs to make money in the long term for both to survive. So it's possible to have pass-through costs for things like energy and cereals, both of which at the moment are highly variable. We have a good experienced executive team. I won't go into them today, but if you want to talk about it, we certainly can. And we have all the key components in place, other than fundraise, which is what we're doing at the minute, to be able to move forward to physically build a distillery and then sell the product. The plan is really quite simple. It's fill the distillery and optimize the mix, because smaller customers pay more than big customers, but deliberately, and we've not put any premiums in there, by the way, in our models for green pricing. We've assumed market pricing only, but there's clearly a trend in whisky towards the same as you see in every other food market, which is more green, more traceable, more provenance, and all of those things are in the plan. What we are looking for is a total of 50 million of funding, which is 40 of debt, which we are not focusing on today, but 10 million of equity. The main thing that does is build a distillery, which is 44 million of the 50 millions. The remainder is working capital. And when you look at it, how might we exit once we've built the thing and optimized it? We're looking at the moment at revenues of low end 30 millions, EBITDA of above 10, and the obvious kind of buyers for the business are either international companies who want into the Scottish whisky market without an E, or the trade players you saw on the slides before, a couple of whom are very large and could buy if they wished. That is us. Thank you very much.